again, it's Null. I hope I don't sound too congested. It's freezing cold here and it's peak flu season, but I'm trying my best to stay healthy. Y'all were so incredibly sweet on my last video. I'm very glad I could help and that my words actually made sense. I'd love to dive deeper into color theory someday. It's still a very interesting topic to me. However, today I am not talking about colors. You know the gist. I'm not a professional and I've never been to art school and I could be giving faulty info, but my only goal is to help. Here we are again, another topic that is so complex I cannot hope to cover it fully in one video, but I'm definitely trying my best. Anatomy and dynamic poses. Fun fact, it wasn't until decently recently that I started to feel confident in my ability to make those fluid dynamic poses, and drawing hands and feet better too. I very much fall into that trope of this artist can draw a top half super well but is shit out of luck when it comes to drawing the legs. It's a struggle, but an improvement has definitely been made. If you've looked into anatomy before, you might be familiar with the concept of figure drawings. Figure drawings are when you study and draw the usually naked human form. It does feel a little awkward at first staring at a random naked person, drawing titties and whatever, but you get very used to it. In fact, I used to open up figure drawing websites in class so I could practice, which is a really stupid idea because you could look over my shoulder and just see a random guy's package on my phone, like full frontal nudity and everything. But whatever, it's fine. Figure drawings are a really common art technique and an amazing tool, but it's not the only way to study the human form. You see, a big factor in creating dynamic poses is clarity and utilizing negative space. You want the pose to be as clear and easy to read as possible. Focusing on the silhouette is the best way to achieve that. In fact, there's a specific technique you can utilize for that purpose. You might have heard of it by a few different names: silhouettes, silhouetting, the blob method. I call it silhouetting, I think it sounds cool. The way to practice silhouetting is to grab your biggest marker, a piece of charcoal, or even the flat end of a pencil, anything that's just kind of big and kind of thick. This next part is a little hard to explain verbally. I'll have it up on screen though. Instead of doing a traditional sketch, you're gonna block in the body completely as one solid mass. What you end up with is a silhouette. Notice how even when completely blacked out, you can still tell where all the limbs are. Notice here there's a large chunk of negative space that lets you see the bend of the elbow and the curve of her cheek. You see a person, not a blob. I can't explain it, but something about these silhouette drawings unlocks something in my brain. I very much suggest testing out this method, and it doesn't even have to be used just for bodies. Use it for fingers and feet and object design and animals, for anything. Drawing anatomy, hands, and feet has become much easier for me. This is my most recent sketchbook, and honestly, it has some of my best anatomies to date. This next bit is a bit more abstract. It's thinking 3D, and it can mean a lot of different things, but to me, it's making sure my characters don't look flat. I like seeing the swish and the roundness of the different planes of the face and body. Like, take this hand for example. It looks nice, but I want it to look more dynamic and 3D, so I'll curve it. I'll show the extra fingies and the squishy part of the hand, you know what I mean. These poses are generally the same and have the same energy, one just has more depth, and I love that depth. Circling back to the concept of clarity, a little thing I keep in mind is keeping the neck, shoulders, and arms very defined. I don't mean in muscle tone, but when they're in a space, they're obviously distanced. Again, this is so hard to put into words, but I'll have images on screen. Of course, if your character has long hair or something like that, then the silhouette will look a little skewed, but when doing your skeleton sketches or a second pass, it's a good thing to keep in mind before heading to the final phase. And when you are, finally, barreling toward the final phase of line art color shading, there is something very wonderful and very helpful to keep in mind. Do you want to know the closest thing to crack that isn't crack? It's line weight. I love using line weight so much. Line weight is the thickness or thinness of a line. Thickness means heavier, thinness is thinner. The basic way to utilize this is with a few simple quote-unquote rules. I'm using the term rule very lightly. You can use line weight however you like and however you see fit, but basically, the further away a line is from the light source, the thicker it gets, and the closer it is to a light source, the thinner it gets. Also, the closer to you a line is, the thicker it is, or the further away it is from you, the thinner the line is. These aren't hard and fast rules. Play around however you like. Something that I like to do is to outline my piece with a bold, thick line just to add some stylization. It might be on the Cartoon Network I grew up watching. I love a good visual example, so here's one of my favorite pieces I've ever done. It's an Ace Attorney and Little Shop of Horrors crossover, and it took me forever. This has some of the best line work I've made to date. I'm in love. If you look closely at Apollo's arm, his lapels, the leaves of the plant, the line thickness varies so much. Not only does it add to the composition of the piece, it's just fun to look at. If you're still a little squeamish about drawing fully naked people but still want to practice anatomy, most clothed options will still show lots of skin and muscles and joints. And this is gonna come out of nowhere, but there is a Starkid musical called Firebringer. With the way the costumes are designed, you can see a lot of exposed body at dynamic angles, and they're frequently moving and dancing, so you'll get a full range of motion. One girl is even walking around with her arms fully raised up in the air for like a full hour. That's just legit impressive. Before I go, so sad, before I go, there's one last thing I want to shed light on. References. References are a good thing. I don't know who woke up one day and decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start a rumor that every artist who uses a reference is less of an artist because I said so. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. References are an amazing tool. You use them every day. I use them every day. Professional artists use references all the time. It's a good thing to have. It honestly makes me so upset whenever I see artists that are just like, that put down other artists for using references like it's not real art. Like, everyone has to use them. Your mind is not that strong. You can't just remember what shit looks like. You need, use Google. Like, references are a gift. It's a good thing. You ever look at like old Disney animation? Like, you can find reference videos for all of them because you need to use references. It makes your art better. It makes it more like cohesive and consistent. References are a good thing, and you should not ever, like literally ever, never should you feel embarrassed for using one. It's a good thing. You're probably a better artist for it. If you've ever felt bad for using a reference, I'm so sorry you feel that way, but it's totally fine. That might have been a lot to take in. For a beginner artist, this can easily be overwhelming. For me, this was overwhelming. Anatomy is super stressful. Like, I still struggle with it. I was struggling with it today, like not even an hour ago. It sucks, but I am getting better. And I believe you. Like, believe me, believe in the me that believes in you. I believe that you can also get better. I'm no professional, not yet anyway, and as always, I will have links to specific videos and websites, and especially figure drawing websites, and Firebringer in the description. Good luck out there. I love y'all. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Now, I know I just said my goodbyes and all that, but if I could just plug in one small thing here. My commissions are open if you're in need of some art, and maybe a present for a loved one, or you want to get some art of your OC made by me, by yours truly. My Instagram is linked down below. Kisses, smooches, goodbye.